The disappearance of a young American girl, a cult at the center of it all, and one major misunderstanding. If there's one thing I can say about Hellboy's reports and journeys that he brings back, it's that they're never as simple as they start out. But this one in particular is a weird one, and in the end makes you feel a little sorry for the parties involved. Maybe. This case file takes place in the year 1985. The 18-year-old daughter of a high executive at the Zinco Davis Corporation by the name of Teresa Cipriano had gone missing in France, where she was visiting. The media would later go on to report that a special government agency would be on the case in finding her. Soon after, they would go on to report that she had been located and returned home, which was far from fiction, but definitely not fact. Hellboy would find himself in the backwoods of Europe, where a sinister cult seems to be using the young 18-year-old American as a sacrifice for some dark god. Unfortunately for him, he notes that his cover was blown when he stepped on a bear trap. The dark beast casts its shadow over the ritual and swoops down to try and capture the young girl. Hellboy manages to interrupt and escapes with her off into the more rough part of the forest, where the beast could not enter. He notes that through these events, young Teresa remained asleep. The BPRD questioned why it was the case that the beast could not further its advances towards him, in which Hellboy exclaimed that he stumbled upon a holy site, mentioning there was something about the place it didn't like. He would meet a monk waiting at the holy site, where he noticed the statue of Saint Hagan. The tale of Saint Hagan is not one that many remember, but the BPRD always does its best to dig as deep into human history as possible, especially when leaning on the more religious topics. Saint Hagan was a crusader who was killed during the year 1291 outside the Holy Land of Akko. During that time, the land was under siege by Muslim Mamelukes. The Mamelukes were a regime that formerly ruled parts of the Middle East. Descended from slaves, they ruled Syria from 1260-1516 and Egypt from 1250 to 1517, and continued as a ruling military caste in the Ottoman Egypt until massacred by the Viceroy Muhammad Ali in 1811. They captured Hagan, tortured him, cut off his head, and sent the body back to those who defended the Holy Land in an attempt to make them lose hope. This was due in fact that he was a great captain and loved by all of them, and to see him fall would certainly ruin the charisma. The legend goes that he was so favored by God, and he loved his men so much, that at the last battle for the city he rose up headless to fight beside them. 47 of the knights that witnessed the miracle founded the Order of the Knights of Saint Hagan. The Pope used them to hunt witches, but out from the desert a devil had followed them and tracked them to the very place that Hellboy found, the Holy Grounds. This Holy Land was the resting place of those 47 knights, and the monks stated that the beast snatched them up one by one and crushed them, saying that it won't be satisfied until no trace of the place remains, and that maybe after that, it too will finally die. Hellboy mentions to us that the monk told him about the nature of the creature, stating that because of its old age, the daylight hours may do it great harm, and so it stays in its lair. This is where he may be able to finish it off. As Hellboy tracks the blood trail left by the beast, he soon runs into its dark lair, where it reveals itself to be Asmodeus, one of the many kings of hell. We will conclude this part here for now, but keep in mind the tale of the 47 knights and the beast that followed them from the desert. Rarely in history is anything as it seems, and in this case, things might get a bit muddy.